Chania is the second largest city of Crete and the capital of the Chania regional unit. It lies along the north coast of the island, about 70 km west of Rethymno and 145 km west of Heraklion. The official population of the municipal unit is 53,910, while the municipality has 108,642 inhabitants. This consists of the city of Chania and several other towns and villages, including Kounoupidiana, Mournies, Souda, Nerokouros, Daratsos, Perivolia, Galatas and Aroni. History. Early history. Chania is the site of the Minoan settlement the Greeks called Kydonia, Greek for Quince. It appears on Linear B as Koudouni Jar. Some notable archaeological evidence for the existence of this Minoan city below some parts of today's Chania was found by excavations in the district of Castelli in the Old Town. This area appears to have been inhabited since the Neolithic era. The city re-emerged after the end of the Minoan period as an important city-state in classical Greece, one whose domain extended from Chania Bay to the feet of the White Mountains. The first major wave of settlers from mainland Greece was by the Dorian Greeks who came around 1100 BC. Kydonia was constantly at war with other Cretan city-states such as Aptera, Phlazana and Polyrrhenia and was important enough for the Kydonians to be mentioned in Homer's Odyssey. In 69 BC, the Roman consul Caecilius Metellus defeated the Cretans and conquered Kydonia, to which he granted the privileges of an independent city-state. Kydonia reserved the right to mint its own coins until the 3rd century AD. Byzantine era. The early Christian period under Byzantine rule and the rule of the Arabs, who called the settlement Al-Hanim, are not well documented. Under the Arabs, the Christian population was persecuted and moved to the mountains. The Byzantine Empire retook the city in 961 AD. In this period the Arabic name of the city was changed into Greek Chania. Byzantines began to strongly fortify the city in order to prevent another Arab invasion, using materials from the ancient buildings of the area. By this time Chania was the seat of a bishop. The Venetian era. After the Fourth Crusade and the fall of Byzantium in the Hellenic area, Crete was given to Bonifacio, Marquis of Montferrat. He in turn chose to sell it to the Venetians for 100 silver marks. In 1252 the Venetians managed to subdue the Cretans, but in 1263, their rivals of Genoa, with local support, seized the city under the leadership of Enrico Pescatore, Count of Malta, and held it until 1285. When the Venetians returned. Chania was chosen as the seat of the rector of the region and flourished as a significant commercial center of a fertile agricultural region. The Venetian rule was initially strict and oppressive, but slowly the relations between the two parts improved. Contact with Venice led to close intertwining of Cretan and Venetian cultures, without, however, the Cretans losing their Greek Orthodox nature. The city's name became Larkania and fortifications were strengthened, giving Chania the form that it still has today. On the other hand, after the fall of Constantinople in 1453, many priests, monks and artists took refuge in Crete and reinforced the Byzantine religion and culture on the island. The city of Chania during the period that followed was a blend of Byzantine, Venetian, and classical Greek cultural elements. Many of the important buildings of the town were built during this era and the intellectual activities were also promoted. Ottoman era. However, the walls did not prevent the Ottoman army from overrunning the city in 1645 after just 2 months' siege. The Ottomans landed near the monastery of Gonia in Kasamos, which they plundered and burnt. They seized Chania itself on August 2, 1645. Huge numbers died in the siege, particularly Turks. The Ottoman commander was executed on returning home for losing up to 40,000 men. Later, most churches were turned into mosques. The Turks resided mainly in the eastern quarters, Castelli and Splantia, where they converted the Dominican Church of St. Nicholas into the central sovereign's mosque. They also built new mosques such as the Kar 1/4 Apicavolt 1/4 K Hassan Pasha Mosque or Yali Mosque on the harbour. Public baths and fountains were a feature of the Turkish city. The Pasha of Crete resided in Chania. In 1821, As Greeks rose against the Ottoman Empire, there were conflicts between Greeks and Turks in Chania, leading to casualties from both sides, most of whom were Muslims. The Bishop of Kasamos, Melistek Despotakis, was hanged from a tree in Splantia for participation in the revolutionary events. In 1878, the Pact of Halapa was signed. This was when a big part of the local Muslim population was killed or moved to Turkey. There was no Muslim population left before the population exchange between Greece and Turkey in 1922. Modern era. In 1898, during the final moves towards independence and in Euro union with Greece, the great powers made Chania the capital of the semi-autonomous Cretan state, with Prince George of Greece, the High Commissioner of Crete, living here. During these years Crete issued its own stamps and money. This was a very important transitional period when, no longer an isolated vilayet of the Ottoman Empire, the city became more cosmopolitan and flourishing, regaining its role as the crossroad of civilizations, influenced by Europe as well as by the East. Many important buildings were built during this era, intellectual and artistic societies were created, and a new class of local aristocracy brought a different atmosphere to the everyday life of the town. The district of Halapa has many fine neoclassical embassies and consulates dating from this period. However, the main goal was enosis with Greece, which came after Venizelos's constant opposition to Prince George's rule over Crete. The series of conflicts includes the Daratsos revolt in 1905, which overthrew Prince George and brought Alexandros Zamis to rule Crete. Finally, in 1908, Venizelos managed to establish a revolutionary government, recognized by the great powers. His later election as the Prime Minister of Greece was the last step before Crete was united with Greece on December 1, 1913. The Greek flag was raised for the first time at Fort Verca in the Old Harbour in the presence of Eleftherios Venizelos and King Constantine. Eleftherios Venizelos, who hailed from Mournies near Chania, was the leader of the 1896-97 uprising against Ottoman rule and went on to be Prime Minister of Greece and a great statesman. His tomb is on a hill overlooking Chania. Chania in World War II. Another important period for the city of Chania was the invasion and occupation by German forces during World War II. The British force that faced the German paratroopers during the Battle of Crete in 1941, had artillery elements over the hill of Dixamini in the south of the city. These elements bombed the German forces in the Malim airfield undetected, until they ran out of ammunition. George II of Greece stayed in a villa near the village of Perivolia outside Chania before escaping to Egypt. Part of the city was bombed and a significant proportion of the area's population was either executed or imprisoned due to participation in the resistance against the German rule. The Jewish community of Chania was also eliminated during the German occupation. Most of them were transported off the island by the Nazi occupiers in 1944. Tragically, a British torpedo sank the ship Tenace, which was carrying most of the Jewish prisoners. Modern era. The city of Chania was slowly regaining its normal pace of development during the 1950s, trying to overcome the difficulties that the war had left as an aftermath. During the 1970s, Crete became a major tourist destination for Greek and international tourists, something that gave a significant boost to the city's economy and affected the everyday life and the overall culture of the locals. The capital of Crete was moved to Heraklion in 1971. Since the decade of 1990, the city of Chania entered a new era, because many constructions have been made, like a new airport, port, educational facilities, and it is considered as one of the most famous tourist resort in the Mediterranean Sea. Geography. The city of Chania lies around 40 km from the west end of Crete. By road, the distance is approximately 52 km. Cityscape. The city of Chania can be divided in two parts, the Old Town and the modern city, which is the larger one. The Old Town is situated next to the Old Harbour and is the matrix around which the whole urban area was developed. It used to be surrounded by the old Venetian fortifications that started to be built in 1538. Of them, the eastern and western parts have survived. From the south, the Old Town is continuous with the new, and from the north the physical border is the sea. The center of the modern city is the area extending next to the Old Town and especially towards the south. The Old Town. Despite being heavily bombed during World War II, Chania's Old Town is considered the most beautiful urban district on Crete, especially the crumbling Venetian harbour. The borders of the Old Town are the mostly destroyed old Venetian wall, and this has been the cradle of all the civilizations which were developed in the area. The central part of the Old Town is named Castelli and has been inhabited since Neolithic times. It is located on a small hill right next to the seafront and has always been the ideal place for a settlement due to its secure position, its location next to the harbour and its proximity to the fertile valley in the south. Nowadays it is a bit more quiet than the neighbouring areas of the west part of the district. The Splantia quarter is also largely untouched and very atmospheric. A plan for its future development is now under consideration. The main square of the Old Town is the Eleftherios Venizelos Square. It is the heart of the touristic activities in the area. Next to this lies the Topanes district, which used to be the Christian part of the city during the Turkish occupation. Its name comes from the Venetian ammunition warehouse, which was located there. The Jewish quarter was located at the northwest of the Old Town, behind the harbour and within the borders of Topanes. The whole Topanes area is generally very picturesque, with many narrow alleys and old charming buildings, some of which have been restored as hotels, restaurants, shops and bars. This makes it a lively and colourful place, especially during the warm period. In the winter, it still remains a centre of activities but in a more quiet and atmospheric way. Finally, a very distinctive area of the Old Town is the harbour itself and generally the seafront. Acti Tompesi, Acti Kounoupidiana and Acti Inozos all feature several historical buildings and a thriving nightlife. The main street that combines the modern town with the Old Town is Haladin's Street. The modern city. The modern part of Chania is where most locals live and work. It is less traditional than the Old Town, but there are still areas of charming beauty or of some historical interest. The oldest district of the modern city is Nerokouros, which is located beyond the west end of the Old Town. It is a developing area, but also a very picturesque one, with narrow old lanes leading to a small fishing harbour. During the same era the district of Halapa began to grow to the east of the city and used to be home for the local aristocracy. Some of the historical buildings of the area had been destroyed or abandoned during the later decades of the 20th century, and it was only recently when some interest was shown for the restoration of the remaining ones. Other historical buildings in the area include Eleftherios Venizelos unregistered trademark S House, the Old French School, the Church of Agia Magdalene, the Oe Palacio and the Church of Evangelistria. Part of the marine area of Halapa is called Taubakaria, where a unique architectural complex of old leather processing houses is situated. The district of Konkapi, situated beyond the walls at the eastern part of the Old Town, was also one of the first places to be inhabited outside the fortification walls. Initially, it was home for the Halikarts, a group of Bedouins from North Africa who had actually settled there since the last years of the Turkish occupation. Nowadays it is a developing area with many trendy cafes, bars and restaurants on its picturesque beach. Apart from the previously mentioned older districts of the modern part of the town, several new residential areas have been developed during the 20th century, like Agios Ioannis, Combs, Lentariana etc. Some part Euro, but not the biggest Euro of the city centre, is dominated by colourless medium-height block buildings, typical of the urbanization period of Greece. However, there are still some beautiful neoclassical houses, especially at the eastern part of Chania, and some of the neighborhoods surrounding the center are quite picturesque. The plan of the central area is very good. There are some nice parks and several sports grounds, the most important being the Venizelos Stadium of Chania and the swimming pool at Nerokouros. The 1913 Indoor Market, a large building based on the Market of Marseille, is on the edge of the Old Town and is popular with tourists and locals alike. Some other important sites of the new urban area are the courthouse, the public gardens, the garden clock tower, the episcopal residence and the house of Manisos Kounoupidiana, the cultural center. The central largest squares in Chania are the Market Square, the Courthouse Square and the 1866 Square. In the last 2 decades there has been a profound movement of Chania residents towards the suburbs, as well as towards areas around the city which used to be rural, mainly the Crete Peninsula. Climate: the city enjoys a typical Mediterranean climate, with sunny dry summers and mild rainy winters. During the period between April and October, clear sky weather is almost an everyday feature. The atmosphere is always warm, but fierce heat waves are not very common, since the prevailing Etesian winds blow from northern directions and pleasantly moderate the conditions. Intervals of sunny days are frequent during the windy and rainy winter as well. Snow and frost are rare near the coast, with very few exceptions, like the snowstorm on February 13, 2004, when €30 in of snow accumulated in the urban area, causing general chaos. However, such cold days can be followed by much warmer and sunny weather. Even minor early heat waves can occur in March or April, during a Saharan dust event, whose main feature is the strong and hot katabatic wind from the south, which is a type of sirocco and is called lievers by the Greeks. Such events happen only a couple of times a year, and their duration is never more than 1 or 2 days. The chart to the right is based on data recorded during 1958 to 1997. Absolute maximum temperature ever recorded was 42.5 AA degrees Celsius, while absolute minimum ever recorded was 0 AA degrees Celsius. However, the record minimum was broken on February 13, 2004 when the temperature reached to 1 AA degrees Celsius at midday. Government: the municipality of Chania was formed in the 2011 local government reform by the merger of the following 7 former municipalities, that became municipal units: Akrotiri, Chania, Eleftherios Venizelos, Karamia, Kydonia, Souda, Therasso. The municipality forms the eastern shore of Chania Bay and is bordered by Platanias to the west, Sfakia to the south and Apokoronas to the east. Demographics, culture. The cultural background of Chania is very rich, first of all due to the town's long history and its interaction with many diverse civilizations in the past. Furthermore, the location of Crete as well as the cosmopolitan atmosphere the tourism creates, have generally kept the town up to date with modern advances in art and knowledge. Currently, there are several museums, art galleries, theatre and music groups, educational and research institutions within the city. The most important museums in Chania are, Archaeological Museum of Chania in St. Francis Monastery. It houses findings from different parts of the county and from several historical and prehistorical periods of the local history, Folklore Museum, Historical Archive, Nautical Museum of Crete, Municipal Art Gallery, Byzantine Post-Byzantine Collection, House of Venizelos, War Museum, Museum of Chemistry, School Life Museum, Museum of Typography, Chania. Several theatre groups are active in Chania, with the most important being the Municipal and Regional Theatre of Crete. The repertoire includes old and contemporary plays from Greek and foreign writers. The Venezuelan Conservatory of Music is also one of the most important cultural societies in Crete. A recent attempt from the municipality to create a chamber music group named Sinfonietta has been successful, and its performances throughout the year have enriched the cultural event calendar of the city. There is also a significant community of people who focus on alternative indie music as well as jazz, and some interesting bands performing modern musical styles. A number of traditional, Cretan musicians are also active in town. The city is also quite cinephile. There are 5 cinemas, concentrating both in commercial and independent movies and occasionally organizing small festivals. During the summer period a variety of cultural events take place on a daily basis. Theatrical plays, concerts and several exhibitions from Greek and foreign artists are organized either by the municipality or by individuals. A venue which hosts many of these events is a theatre located in the east bulwark of the Old Town. Also, several festivals, conferences or sport events take place in Chania, especially between May and September. The Venezuela Athletics competition is one of the most noteworthy events of the year. Cultural life throughout the wintry period of the year is not as rich as in the summer, but it is certainly maintained to a good standard. During the last years there has been a substantial effort by both the city councils and by the locals to create the background for the city to be in the center of interest throughout the year. Towards this direction, the increasing number of students moving to Chania for their studies has proved to be helpful. There is also some effort to promote Crete as a tourist destination for all since a role that the island could easily hold a euro, which would also support both the local economy and culture. A major role in the city's cultural life is played by the Municipal Cultural Corporation of Chania, which organizes a significant part of the events taking place throughout the year. There is a French, a German, an Italian and a Swedish consulate in Chania. Sports. Water sports are very popular in Chania, and especially the local water polo team has managed to be a protagonist in the primary league of the Greek national championship for years. Several athletes of this team have also played extensively for the Greek national team, which has achieved major international successes. Football and basketball are also very popular in the town, however not as successful. The main football teams are AOX and Ionia. The main clubs for athletics are Eleftherios Venizelos, and Kaidan. The Antisferisi club is specialized in tennis and table tennis and has also a significant tradition in chess. Many of the above sports are being practiced in the National Stadium of Chania, constructed in 1935 with the financial support of Elena Venizela, then wife of Eleftherios Venizelos. There is also an open swimming pool for water sports in Nerokouros and a new indoor one which has been built on the nearby Crete Peninsula in 2006, but hasn't opened to the public yet because of the estimated operational costs. A modern indoor stadium for basketball/volleyball etc. has also been built near Nerokouros. Platanias of Chania has gained 36 points in the soccer championship in 2013. It also has to be mentioned that there is a very active climbing/mountain walking club organizing weekly excursions of varying difficulty on the mountains of Crete and several other longer-term missions in mainland Greece and abroad. Education and research. Educational institutions located at the greater area of the city are, the Technical University of Crete. It is the largest educational institution in Chania with around 2,600 undergraduate and 700 postgraduate students. It is focusing on electronic and computer engineering, environmental engineering, production engineering and management, mineral resources engineering, sciences and architecture. Future plans include a civil engineering and a fine arts department. The Chania branch of the Technological Educational Institute of Crete, the Mediterranean Agronomic Institute of Chania, the Merchant Marine Academy of Crete, other research and intellectual institutes and societies in Chania are, the National Research Foundation Eleftherios K. Venizelos, the Mediterranean Architecture Center, the Institute of Olive Tree and Subtropical Plants of Chania, the Institute of Cretan Law, the Historical, Laographical and Archaeological Society of Crete, Institute of Regional Press, Chania. Primary and secondary schools are mainly public in Chania. However, there has been a slow development of some private high schools recently. Among the Eniolikeia of the town there is an autonomous ecclesiastical lyceum in Agios Mathos. Economy. Two main sources of wealth in Chania are agriculture and tourism. A big portion of the city's residents own from few to many acres of agricultural land where several plants are being cultivated, the most popular ones being olive trees and citrus. Other important products include wine, avocados, dairy etc. Apart from the traditional ways of cultivation, some of the producers have concentrated on practicing new methods in order to promote organic food. The organization of the Agricultural August has been a recent attempt to promote local quality products, including a series of activities organized by the Prefecture of Chania since 1999 and has proved very successful. On the other hand, tourism has developed rapidly during the last decades, starting from the early 1970s. Nowadays the tertiary sector is becoming more and more important for the locals, since an increasing number of them are participating in the business. Agrotourism and ecotourism are forms of tourism which are significantly developing lately. There is also some secondary industry with focus on the processing packaging of the agricultural products or manufacture products that support the agricultural production. On the other hand, The growth and development of academic research institutions in Chania is a challenge for future economic activities by taking advantage of the specialized knowledge of scientists and technicians and by also reinforcing quality tourism. An important center of the economic activities in the town is the Chania Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Healthcare. The main health center in the city is the General Hospital Agios Georgios. Other institutions include the Crete Naval Hospital, the branch of the National Center for Emergency Medical Care and the Clinic of Chronic Disease. The Chania branch of the Organization Against Drugs opened in 2003. There is also a number of private clinics as well as medical centers specializing in various areas within the town. Transportation. The city is served by Chania International Airport on the Crete Peninsula. The airport is named after Daskaloggiannis, a Sfakiot hero who was skinned by the Turks in the 18th century. There are several flights a day from Athens to Chania, with Aegean Airlines and Olympic Airlines. From April-early November, there are many direct charter flights to Chania from the United Kingdom, Germany, Scandinavia, the Netherlands and other European countries. Souda, some 7 km from Chania, is the city's port, with daily ferries to Piraeus and a NATO naval base. Notable residents. Elpis Molina, born as Marie Esper. Copyright Franz von Schwarz, German writer. Eleftherios Venizelos, Prime Minister of Greece 1910–1920, 1924, 1928–1932, 1933. Widely considered as the most important statesman of modern Greece, Konstantinos Manos, politician and writer of the late 19th and early 20th century, Alexis Minotis, famous stage and screen actor active between the 1930s–1980s, Manos Katrakis, famous theatre and film actor, Konstantine Mitsotakis, politician, Prime Minister of Greece 1990–1993, now the honorary president of the New Democracy Party, George Vsichaoundakis, Cretan war hero and author, John Craxton, painter and British honorary consul, Kostas Mandakis, traditional Cretan music composer, Cretan lyra virtuoso and teacher, Eftichios Bitsakis, philosopher, theoretical physicist, Maro Douka, Greek novelist, Ioanna Charistiani, Greek novelist, Phocion Franskakis, private international law teacher, Christos Tsartsitakis, President of the Third Hellenic Republic from 1985 to 1990, Christos Dimitrios Lambrakis, publishing tycoon, owner of Lambrakis Press Group including daily newspapers Tarne and Tavima, Mikis Theodorakis, Greek composer, Manos Hatzidakis, Greek composer, Nikos Christodoulakis, Greek politician, economics professor and electronics engineer, the Minister for Economy and Finance of Greece from 2001 to 2004, Nana Mouskouri, Greek singer, one of the top-selling female singers of all time, Konstantinos Daskalakis, professor at MIT, who managed at the age of 28 to improve the Nash equilibrium, an unsolved enigma for 60 years, John Aniston, actor and father of well-known American actress Jennifer Aniston. International relations. Chania is twinned with Paphos, Cyprus, Wellington, New Zealand, Angstrom 1/2 Illinois, Slovakia, Gallery. See also, Cretan cuisine, list of settlements in the Chania regional unit, Mount Tityros, references. External links, see Chania region for maps, Municipality of Chania, National Research Foundation Eleftherios K. Venizelos, Hanya Prefecture Eurotourism Promotion Committee Euroguide, Chania the official website of the Greek National Tourism Organization, the page on Minoan Chania on Ian Swindale's Minoan Crete website.